Hey everyone, this is Local Form, where it's all about exploring how different designers and studios bring ideas to life from concept to creations. For our very first episode, we're visiting Ratio Product Lab here in Atlanta, a studio that's been creating innovative product for years, working with clients from big companies to individuals and vendors. Jim, the founder, was kind enough to let me stop by and learn more about how they approach design and product development. Let's dive in and see how Ratio makes it all happen. Ratio Product Lab is located right here on Virginia Avenue Northeast in Atlanta. Honestly, such a lovely place. It feels more like a living neighborhood than business district. On my way here, I passed some really cute cafes and little flea markets, the kind of spot that makes you want to slow down and just look around it. Really just lovely place. It's definitely got creative and local charm here. Okay, we see a Ratio Product Lab logo right over here, really just neon and the vibrant red colored dot there. Yeah, let's just get into it right now. So, who are you and what you do for a living, and how would you describe into 2 words? Because I'm doing that 2-word things, and I'm gonna do throughout the videos. I think most of the time when you introduce yourself, industrial designers or even architecture, people just don't know what they are, and
Sure.
they'll just oh, industrial designers. Do you work in factories? Do you have to go to night shift or something?
And honestly, finding industrial design was very hard for me to do because I graduated high school in 1989 and we didn't have the internet clearly, and so what you were going to try to do was identify what your potential career was through books, maybe that you found at the library or books that you found at a bookstore. And while I knew about Raymond Loewy and some of the work that he did in the 50s, I kept finding books about industrial engineering. And It was about process efficiency in moving a bucket from left to right. And I thought, I want nothing to do with that. It has nothing to do with creativity. So I'm Jim Ferguson. I'm the owner of Ratio Product Lab, and I'm an industrial designer.
Wow. Okay.
I would say that industrial design for me has offered me the greatest ability to take a creative process and make it a profession. And so your 2-word description, creative development.
Creative development.
Yeah, I think creative development is the best way I can describe what I do, because a lot of my clients come to us with an idea. This may be something that's just been ruminating in their head forever and they can't figure out how to get it out. They compare it to other products, but they can't sketch, they can't iterate on that idea. So they come to me, and sometimes they may have a proof of concept and they may even have a prototype, but 90% of the time they just say, I want to solve this problem. How can we do it? And so for me, I help them with the creative development of getting out of their head what it is they have in their mind's eye for their final product. Sometimes that can happen through sketching, and you see that a lot with industrial design, that there's a lot of sketching involved and a myriad of concepts that will be developed, and then you can put that in front of the client and they say, I'll select A or I'll select B.
Okay, so that's basically how the meeting with the clients work.
Sometimes. I think they have in the past. This is in previous design firms I worked for, you would present to the client a sale that they would sign on to, or contract, where we want to give you 3 concepts of your idea. Many designers in that firm would have 1 great idea. That's concept A. And then you'd just rack your brain and you'd come up with concept B. And then you're saying, oh my God, the client's going to be here in a day. We're contractually obligated to give them 3. And so just whip up another design, and that's concept C. Well, you never really want the client to come in and choose concept C, because then it's your worst concept. It's basically just the thing to fulfill your contractual obligation. You would have thought, oh my God, they would know what I know about concept A, and just went right into it. But they don't. They're not really that well trained in what the further steps might be. And what you've thought about in your concept A is it's going to be more efficient to engineer. It's going to be easier on the eye. It will be easier to sell. A myriad of reasons that you haven't even presented yet. And they say, I love C. Then you have to say, oh, because the client's always right. Well, let's throw A and B and try to figure out how to make C better. Right. And that can be very painful. For me, because I've been through that, what I try to do with the client is ask them as many questions up front as I can. Candidly, I really offer them a lot of tales of caution too. Because this is a boutique service that I offer the client from the sale to the final prototype, and I want them to be happy with our design process, I don't want to talk them into anything that they'll be unhappy about later. Mm-hmm. So, and I also want them to know this is more of a marathon than a sprint. So sometimes people come in here and they're like, oh, I've got this idea in my head, and as soon as we can get it out, clearly you're my only hurdle. I'll get a prototype and then I'll just start minting cash. And that doesn't really happen like that. I mean, oftentimes you need to get a prototype so that you can go find out what you don't know. And I say this a lot to clients, is in the product development process, the development portion is defined by finding out what we don't know. Mm-hmm. And we make our best assessments and choosing different concepts, narrowing those concepts down. And everybody agrees around the table that whether it's the client or us, that that's the best direction. And we'll engineer it, we make a prototype of it, and then you find out, oh, the handle's too small, or we don't need that hook, or we need more space for the Velcro. Any of those things you'll find out as soon as you kind of get some physicality with the product.
Mm-hmm. I mean, do you try to, just going back to conversation, if the client chooses a C, and with that, that's a worse.
Your worst one. You almost can't defend it.
Yeah. Then, do you try to convince the clients and tell them A and B's are kind of a better in such a way?
So yeah, I think that's where I find I have a differentiation, is that I don't really contract with clients to give them 3 concepts. What I really try to focus on is let's find the one thing that's the move forward idea. So we have a lot of talks in the beginning. I try to understand what their goals are, what's their strategy. Do they want to license it? Do they want to sell it? Do they want to invest in themselves to manufacture it? There's a lot of different ways that you can pursue designing, producing, and selling your own product. So I kind of want to know how they're doing all of those things, or what their intent is. Sometimes they don't know, so I'm just planting seeds that these are going to be the other things that come after you having a prototype, or you having manufacturing quotes. Will you buy 1,000, or will you need 10,000? And as soon as you say 10,000, people say, oh my God, I don't know. But that's usually the balloon payment at the end of design development, is that you've done some work with me, it's design development services, but at the end of it, you've got great files to take to any manufacturer and have them help you turn them into actual parts. But that manufacturer is not really interested in playing in the sandbox the way I was. They want to know, when do you want to get started? When are you going to buy tooling, and how many thousands of them do you need? And if you're not really qualified to do that, that manufacturer will move on from you very quickly. Well, and I will say, this is one product that I'm really proud of, and I know the product owner is really proud of. This is Shot Collar, and Shot Collar it's a bat training weight. And this product was actually initially conceptually developed by another design firm in town. And the client wasn't happy with the work that design firm had done. And when he brought it to me, he said, hey, how can we just turn this concept into a manufactured good? And again, with the tales of caution, I said, dude, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't mess with that at all. And he said, why? And I said, well, the problem with that device that you've got is it has a hinge, it opens up, it's going to get dirt in it, it's going to have all kinds of issues. It's going to lay flat on the field and the grass. You'll never see it. And as soon as I destroyed that concept and that prototype, the client almost just threw up his hands because he was tired of working with these designers, not getting anything anyway. He said, just give me whatever you think it'll be. And I said, you know what I think it'll be? I think it's going to be hot dog fingers. And he said, what? And I said, I think it's hot dog fingers.
What are you saying?
And he's like, what are you talking about? And I said, well, I think all we really want to do, because what shot collar does is it allows a bat to not be truncated. A lot of times the old bat weight would get stuck on the bat and the kids would go and smash the bat. And if it was an oak or an ash bat, it would fall off. But these new bats are composite. And they've only got a little epoxied connection here. So if you smash this bat, the whole handle goes up inside of it. So this just allows you to take it off real easy and put it on. So when I said hot dog fingers, I said, yeah, I think it's just going to go up and be like fingers that kind of gently hold it on like they were little hot dogs. And he said, just do whatever you're going to do. And that's my favorite client, you know, just to let me come up with that concept, let me come up with something I think will work for him. And then once I showed it to him, and it wasn't hot dog fingers, I was pretty much closer to my final than the original concept that I was just thinking through. He loved it. And he said, let's refine this, let's improve on it. And it's turned out to be an outstanding sales product for him.
Oh, wow. So it made it to the productions.
Oh, it made it through production. And I would say this too, it made it through production not because I had a great design. And it's doing well in the market, not because I'm the one who made it. It's because my product owner, Mike Cather, who is a former Atlanta Braves pitcher, lives, eats, and sleeps and breathes baseball. So he made it happen. I just gave him, like I'll say sometimes to people, I gave him the tuned up hot rod that he already had to go win the race. So I'm not winning the race for him, he's winning the race. I'm just giving him the equipment to do it.
So you're more like a facilitator in the process. You're making things happen.
I really am, yeah.
Bringing the client's idea into really tangible products.
Exactly.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And something that's affordable, easy to manufacture, and something that isn't going to be too complicated for him to sell.
Okay. So is that your favorite product? Because like I was going to ask you about like what's your favorite
I think
product?
right now it's been one that's been a favorite for sure. I would say another product, I'll move this off to the side so you can see this one. This product or this concept was the first thing that got me kicked off. And I really have to say thank you so much to Coca-Cola Company for giving me the opportunity. Because I was a young designer when I started Ratio 10 years ago in terms of my career and running a firm. And Coca-Cola gave me an opportunity to build this product for them. This was a solar-powered cooler. And the idea was to blend some of the futurism with nostalgia and provide a solar panel that could cool a chiller or a cooler for them in a remote location.
Oh, wow.
So they kind of thought about, you know, what are some of the alternative energy things that are out there and how can we incorporate it? This was a challenging product because I was actually working in my studio, which was a shed behind my garage at the time. And so I did the development with the client. I had a great resource in Zach Griggs as well, who was a designer with me at the time. And we produced this and delivered it to them a day early, and they were thrilled. So it really got us started. I will also say they gave it back to me. Once it made the rounds around campus, everybody loved it. It was one of the cutest prototypes they'd seen. They said, Jim, we're not going to really pursue this as a final manufactured good, and we have to clear the decks on some of these proof of concepts that we have. Would you want it back? And I'm like, yeah, bring it over. So I've had it since, this is now 10 years old. This was 2015.
Oh, I mean, does it still work?
Yeah, it still works.
Oh, wow.
Okay. They really didn't expect us to produce a working proof of concept or working prototype.
It was more like a conceptual.
It was a conceptual thing that they wanted to see as a physical good. They had some great images that they shared with us, but again, they were just kind of concepts. And so we turned them into parts. They told us that they would give us a refrigeration unit, which I was kind of excited about because I thought Coca-Cola is going to give us a refrigeration unit. And what is that? You know, they brought me a dorm fridge. So I was like, oh no, I'm really on my own with this one. So I ended up making the dorm fridge, kind of decapitated the front off of a standard door fridge or dorm fridge, small fridge. I put 2 car batteries in the lower portion, and we made it work. So they loved it. I also delivered this a day early and included a big platter of chocolate chip cookies, and that was a hit too.
I mean, I can't imagine.
Yeah, they were excited about that.
So should we just?
Yeah, and I'll show you some other things that I'm doing around here. Trying to see.
Oh, I love the LED panel just blinking your logos up there.
Yeah, so this was just like one of the first parts that I produced with my bigger 3D printer, and so I tried to make a little lamp for that. I think 3D printing has completely changed the way I do my work now. My work is kind of split, or the ratio work is kind of split between 2 categories right now. I have clients who have a product idea and have usually never pursued that idea before. So that is one aspect that is a little bit of a learning curve to bring the client up to what they may expect in the whole process. At the same time, I'm also producing about 100 of my own products that are on Etsy and Amazon. So when I have ebbs and flows between client work, I'm also producing my own ideas and producing them with 3D printers. Come on into this room, which is the 3D printing room, and I'll show you a couple things. As an example, you never know what kind of requests you're going to get. I had a lady call me last week and said, "Can you make me an anatomical heart that's a vase?" And again, I'm not really a blender designer type professional, and if this was the case back in the day, this might take me a couple days to make, you know, and it's very subjective, right? Did I get it right? That kind of thing. While she's talking to me and asking me this request, I just go on Maker World, and there's 5 different models where individual designers have lent their models to the platform, and I'm finding it, and I find the one I want, and I'm like, yeah, I can make that for you. So you never know what you're going to get as a request, but with the ability to have this kind of ecosystem support you, it's easy to produce these parts.
I mean, I see like huge 3D printer that I'd never seen before.
Yeah, so this is a Modix Big 60. It was probably obviously the biggest printer I had bought at the time, and it was $5,000, and it all came in bags. So I had to put the whole thing together, which is a frustrating process, and you kind of realize too you're on your own with that build as well. But it worked really well for a client that we had that was their focus is in consolidating contact lenses into a case that might be at your doctor's office. So if you went into your doctor's office and they gave you a contact lens prescription, you'd be able to go to their sample box and pull one. The reason that's available is because this client of mine makes these towers of drawers out of plastic that then collate and consolidate all of these different samples into one location. That's probably one of the products that, again, as an example, no one ever sees because it's in the back room at the doctor's office, but it's probably one of the parts that is in highest volume production I've ever done.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So could you really just show us how the 3D printers are?
Yeah, so I would say walking around here, everything in this, my print lab now is primarily Bamboo Lab. Is there like a specific reason why you chose this brand? Well, I would say I was running 20 Prusa machines and Creality machines, and anytime there was a sale, I'd pick up a cheap machine. And it was helping me improve my productivity. However, what I found was I was spending a lot of time as a 3D printing technician getting the machine to work correctly to give me a very fine part, or the best part I could make. I saw the Bamboo Lab. It was actually this guy right here on Kickstarter, and I couldn't believe how fast it was going. And I also loved how pretty the machine looked. It looked like an Apple product. And so
like,
I thought,
like stainless steel.
yeah, it's really clean looking. This smoked glass on the top, and it has this multi-material selector. And I bought one on Kickstarter. It came, and I think I let it sit around the studio for like 2 or 3 days, just because like a Creality machine, I'm like, I got to set aside time to like put this thing together, get it dialed in. Not this one. I opened it up, I plugged it in, and the very first part it made for me, which is one of the parts I wanted, not a Benchy, it was beautiful. And it made it 5 times faster than the Creality machine.
Oh, okay.
And it immediately dawned on me, oh my God, my production just went up by 5 times with possibly fewer machines.
I mean, is that because like it's a newer version, or like is there like
it's just because it screams. It screams. So the part on the same part on a Creality Ender machine could take, I don't know, 5 hours. On here, it would take an hour and a half or an hour. So immediately, I'm able to like pluck that part off and put another one on, where a part that may take 8 hours, I wouldn't even get it till the next day because of the cycle of wanting to go home and sleep and things like that. But now I can do 2 or 3 cycles of prints in a day, smaller parts like this, which are, I think, probably a 3-hour part. And easy to make, so I can use these as, and these are the P1Ps. I love these machines as workhorse machines. They can do the same thing over and over again very easily. The bigger H2D is great when you have to have a part. I think this one is in here. It's not completed, but this is a part that's just, it's a bigger part. So it's bigger than some of the other things I can make with other parts, other machines.
Oh, wow. I mean, you just produced this whole ecosystem here. Like,
it's amazing, yeah.
For running and like.
So yeah, and it's quiet in here right now, but typically I have all of them going all the time, and I love it. I mean, I think it's so much fun to see parts. I mean, it is like Christmas because I come here in the morning and I open up all my doors and I have all these little presents that Santa left me. So yeah, it's great because I'm able to sweep them all off the beds, and some things go to clients, some things go to customers on Etsy, and then I click, start them all again and run more parts.
I mean, there's like people kind of worry about when they're using 3D printers at their home and at their dorm or something, and if you're like locked in the room and use the 3D printer, they were just afraid that it might, I mean, since it's like melting the PLA plastic,
right?
They thought of like, oh, is there like chance of me getting a cancer, or like people are worried about the health. And
I'm not as concerned about that. I do think there is a noise issue.
Noise issues.
There's some high pitched noises with fans and things like that that do make a lot of noise. One thing again about the Bamboo machines that I'm so impressed with is that after having maybe this machine for the X1 for a year, I got a software upgrade, and it said, would you like to do the software upgrade? I said, yep. And it said, this is going to make the machine quieter. And I thought, oh my God, that's fantastic. Because Creality would never like over the air make your machine quieter. You bought a cheap machine, you get what you get, and then if you need a new better one, you buy a new better one.
So they keep updating
improving it. Like a Tesla, you keep getting updates, or like your Apple phone, you keep getting updates. And it keeps you in the ecosystem. It keeps you feeling like you're getting the most updated machine compared to the person that just went and bought a new X1 now. You think, oh, should I have waited? It's like, no, you just got the same software improvement that he got. Yeah,
that's amazing.
It's amazing.
It's amazing that how the hardware can like uphold those like updates. Like even though like if the updates are there, like if the hardware couldn't follow that, then then.
Well, the only other plastic that I think is a problem is ABS. ABS has it gives off some noxious fumes, and they do say you need to vent that. Most of these with the closed machine, there is a filter in the back, but it's like a activated carbon filter. But what happens is because the ABS smells and there's not a substantial improvement between some of the other plastics involved. You just don't see it. Nobody uses it. So I think you'll see like much better PLAs coming out. You're seeing high speed PETGs coming out. A lot more things with carbon fiber. So there's a lot of carbon fiber that is easy to buy now as filament. That's chopped carbon fiber in the filament. But like the Marked Forge machine that's been around maybe 10 years now, there are new consumer or prosumer machines that are using a complete filament in the carbon. So as the filament is laying down, there's one continuous filament of carbon in that filament, and it makes parts that are stronger than aluminum.
Okay,
Yeah.
I see that. If you want to hear more from Jim, stay tuned for the next episode where he talks about AI, his business journey, how he got to where he is right now, and even shares some great advice for students or anyone thinking about getting into design. Plus, you'll get to see more of his awesome product up close. See you in the next episode on Local Forum.